Hey guys, welcome to day 87 of New Zealand's biggest gap year. It's a big challenge that Laura and I tackled a couple of years ago, in which we had to do 365 activities in New Zealand in only 365 days. So here you go. Whew! Day 88. Today we are checking out Founders Park in Nelson. We're going to try some beers and see how early New Zealanders were living. It's going to be pretty relaxed, fun and educational. If you want to join me at the end of this video, I'm going to go over all the questions that you guys had the first time we published it. See you then! So today we are in Founders Park, which is a historical park in Nelson, which basically is a reproduction of Nelson in about 60 or 70 years ago. And yeah, we're going to be walking around. There is a massive windmill just behind us that you can see. And we're going to be going inside every single houses, including the butcher, the priest, the baker, the coffee, the bank. I'm probably going to rob the bank. And right here we're going inside the Duncan House, which is a brewing legacy. This heritage park is full of stuff to check out. The Duncan House is a massive library with a lot of old books, and then after we head out and find some old phone booths which are connected to each other, so Laura and I can call each other a bit like if it was a cell phone. Then we check out a church, which is one of those really tiny, quaint little church from back in the old days. Laura and I do a little bit of role play because, well, that's what we do. You know, we don't know much about heritage stuff, but we like to make jokes about everything. So after she solemnly decides to marry me, we walk out and make our way across the street to the old technology house, which house a lot of old printing machines and phones. Then it's off to the cobbler shop.
So Robin learns what the hell a cobbler is, which is someone who repairs shoes, by the way. On the streets of the Founders Park, it looks really quaint, really pretty. And next up we are going to the general store, which is literally full from ceiling to floor of all the old stuff general stores used to sell.
Then it's off to the baker's, where we are surprised to see one of the mannequins come to life. His name is Ringo and he's from the cookie factory called Ruck & Co. He's making cookies right before our eyes, and to be honest, they look amazing. And it's not long until we get a warm and fuzzy cookie with a nice hot chocolate. Oh, yummy. After that, I am really intrigued to check out the fire station. I am a big kid, and anything to do with fire engine, especially big ones that you can touch and play with, I am super keen. To my biggest disappointment, we cannot go inside the fire engine on this one, but there is heaps of stuff to check out, including a pillory.
Stop having an English accent.
No. Stop having a French accent.
No.
Stop having a French accent.
No.
So after slapping each other for about half an hour, we go find some more fire engines, which Robin is then gonna play with for ages.
Where are we?
Then it's off to the hospital and dentist with lots of creepy gear that Robin insists on using on me.
Look at all those brain parts that Laura lacks. After a quick stroll around the park, we arrive at the next section of the exhibition, which is a massive hangar dubbed the transportation hangar. This houses a lot of old buses and old means of transportation. All of them look absolutely uncomfortable. I cannot believe that people used to spend hours and hours and hours traveling around New Zealand in those things. There is even some horse carriage. I did not know that people used to travel around New Zealand in horses. It boggles my mind.
We can also listen to some recordings of diaries when people were terrified of travelling back in the day. Next up, the transportation continues in the mini museum of the train station. And then it is the mini museum of the brewery. New Zealand has a bit of an obsession with making craft beer, and this is shown through this museum with all this vintage beer making kits and old news of the Prohibition era. And now we're going to actually try out some beer for ourselves. So actually at Founders Park is the Founders Brewery, which makes loads of variety of craft beer.
Those beers are actually pretty famous in New Zealand and can be found in most supermarkets as well. So because Laura and I are not sure what we want, we opt for the tasting tray. It's just an easier way to get a little bit of everything. She picks a nice table outside and then it's just a long wait until our yummy tasty tray finally arrives. And it even comes with a cheat sheet that tells us a bit more information on each of the beer that we're gonna be sampling.
At $12 for a tasting tray, that's a pretty good deal on some well-filled tasting glasses. There's a whole variety of beers to try, and to be honest, we don't know which one we prefer the most. And our last stop of the day is at this huge plane. So we're about to see what people used to fly in the sky with, and it is really terrifying. I would not want to be in this tin can in the sky. It's interesting to find out more about these things, but man, people back in the day were brave.
Then we're back at the Tasman Bay Backpackers for the free pudding. It's every night. Yum!
No, I stick to the classic.
Yeah,
Pale ale is...
I'm just putting it. I don't care about your opinion, let me speak.
Despite the fact that I asked a question, I clearly don't give
I
a
was
shit about
asking
your
that
opinion.
question so that I could answer. But yeah, I think usually with beer you just like what you usually drink. And that's it.
So that's Laura,
And that's
before
worth-
me asking.
That is worth waiting for.
Alright, so that was a fun video, that was quite relaxed. I did really enjoy visiting Founders Park, but first up, I'm going to acknowledge that the last few videos when we've done this kind of Q&A session at the end, I was talking way too fast. I have a tendency to speak too fast and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to just kind of rein myself down and speak a little slower today. So keep on commenting on the videos, tell me if I'm doing a good job, tell me if I'm doing a bad job. All your feedback is always very important to us. So seriously, it's always taken in a constructive way. I mean, some people say some like, you know, nasty things and that's okay as well. You know, I just have to delete them and it's all good. But honestly, your feedback is always taken very constructively. So thank you very much for doing that. I just want to put that out there. All right, so let's go through some of the questions and comments that were happening last time we published it. First up, we had Why in the World. If you guys don't know, that's a cool channel to check out as well. And he's asking, how much was a tasting tray? I had no idea Nelson had a heritage park. Looks like the one in Christchurch, so I imagine they are quite similar. So I can't really recall the price of the tasting tray, but that wasn't too expensive. If I can recall, that was roughly the same price than 2 pints. And since I was about to order 2 pints for Laura and I thought that the tasting tray will be a little bit more interesting and also a bit more interesting to show you guys. So that was my train of thought. So roughly the price of 2 pints, but I can't recall exactly what was the price of it. To be fair, that was 2 years ago. Anna Witter was giving us a minor detail. And she says, Laura, if you are marrying him, then you don't do the funeral march up the aisle. So it looks like we were singing the wrong song. So that tells you, Anna, how prepared we are for getting married, Laura and I. And guess what? 2 years later, we are still together, but we are still not married. So we still haven't marched down the aisle on the, while listening to the funeral march. Why in the World also say that a few months ago he commented on this video and he went to check out the Heritage Park afterwards. And sadly, at his great distress, they permanently closed the brewery. So he even stopped vlogging because he was so sad and the whole place was so quiet and desolate. So yes, that is true. I think it was about 14 months ago from the recording of this video. So the brewery over there closed, and then after there is COVID-19 that did hit and everything. So yes, there is a bit of a lowdown right now for the Founders Park in Nelson, but I feel like by the time people are going to be traveling again in New Zealand, I think that there is going to be a bit of a revival of this place, or hopefully there will be. If there is no revival of that place and it's permanently shut down altogether, well, at least we have this video to look forward to and to remember that this place used to exist, and I hope that we did a good job to show you what it used to offer. So here you go. That's basically the best thing I can say, and the nicest light that I can put it in. Now, to make sure that you are visiting only places which actually are open and that you are planning your trip accordingly, you can check out nzpocketguide.com. It's our travel guide to New Zealand. It's entirely free to use. It's updated all the time. Literally, the reason why Laura is not right here doing this video with me is because she's just over there. I can see her right now, and she is updating nzpocketguide.com for your reading pleasure. So check it out. You know, it's a great website. It's all free to use, so you may want to do that. You can also like and subscribe. You know, you like this video to tell us thank you for all our hard work. It's free to do, and you subscribe because the YouTube algorithm tell me literally on my screen right now to tell you to do that. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to listen to the robots or not. But if you are planning a trip to New Zealand and you feel like you want a little bit of help, we're here for you. We are sitting down on that couch over there every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time. And we answer all the New Zealand travel questions that we receive on the live chat to help you make the best out of your trip in New Zealand. If you want to be part of it, you can hit the link in the description below, and it will tell you what time it is in your side of the world. And if you're in New Zealand, well, it's 8 AM. And yeah, we'll hang out together and have a good time. In the meantime, keep traveling awesome. Keep being a nice person, and keep reminding me that I speak too fast. Damn, I just forgot to speak slowly about halfway through this recording. Oh, I really need to remember that. Please keep reminding that to me in the comments. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.